Longevity series here on the Groove Line with your host, Chris Stevens. If yes, you are wondering, I just woke up. I forgot I had to record the intro for this, but today is Prince Day. And so I am going to bring back a video I did on another YouTube channel where I talked with my good friend Evan Barnes of Newsday about the 40th anniversary of Purple Rain. So it's a long video. We had a great discussion. Hopefully you enjoy it. Evan was like, "Yo, Purple Rain is turning 40. Can we talk about it?" I was like, "Absolutely." So we've done our diligence, we've done our research, and we are ready to talk about the album and the movie.
I'm back and I was excited because I was like, you know what, man? You know, I love doing these podcasts with you, these videos. And I'm like, we got to do Prince. Like, we've never done a Prince one. And knowing how much we both love and appreciate Prince, it's like, let's do it. If we can't do it, okay, but we can at least talk about trying to do it because it's the 40th anniversary of the movie event of that, one of the movie events of that summer, that great summer of movies. We love Purple Rain, the album. I was like, why not? You came ready. I see you came ready.
You did too. You did too.
I tried to find my Purple Rain shirt, and I okay. So here's the true story. I bought that shirt at least maybe 5 years ago because I had that shirt, loved it. But you know what I've seen? I've seen all the young hipsters, young kids, younger Gen Z folks wearing it. And I'm like, y'all gonna make this thing like Thriller. Y'all gonna turn this into like Thriller that everybody talks about Purple Rain. It's like Purple Rain this. So I was like, you know what? I'm a one up y'all. So I got a Sign of the Times shirt and the purple shirt that I had on the last episode. I'm like, I'm gonna show y'all that I've been around here for a minute. You know, I've been collecting the vinyl for a while, but I'm like, I can't be out here looking like, you know, a Purple Rain hipster, you know?
Man, the funny thing about this shirt is I bought it during a heavier time in my life when I was still kind of like teetering near that 300 mark. But now I'm back in the 240s.
Look at that.
It's a lot of room. So I'm gonna have to buy a smaller version eventually. But for the purposes of this episode, I mean, it still works.
Exactly. And shout out to you for being on your fitness, man. You've been an inspiration with that. I know I've been doing a little bit of my own for on and off for 10 years, man. But shout out to you for that. You kept it up. And
thank you, man.
We gotta be healthy. Like we all believe in body positivity, but being healthy and loving ourselves and taking care of our bodies, that's important too.
Yeah, I mean, just being active, man. That's really the whole key, honestly. I mean, just, you know, I work from home, and, you know, journalists, we don't move around a lot. I mean, sports reporters, we do move around a lot, but, you know, the times when we're down. So, I mean, it's important when you're down to just, you know, make time to move, you know, watch what you eat and all of that. So I'm blessed, man. I'm very blessed. And, you know, just glad that, you know, people have been encouraging me and people say I'm an inspiration. It's kind of humbling, but at the same time, I'm glad that, you know, people feel like they can take something from me that's positive. So without further delay, let's talk about this movie and this album. So to give y'all the backstory, Prince and Warner Brothers, I mean, you wanted to do this, you know, this movie project for a long time. So in 1983 is when it all started to, you know, go into motion, the album, the movie. And sometimes people consider it a Prince album. Other people consider it a Prince soundtrack. You can't go wrong defining it either way. But one thing you can say that it's on the short list of the greatest albums in the 1980s.
Absolutely. I mean, it's at the point now where I think I saw this change before Prince died, but like this movie, this album, it's a go-to for Prince folks who say, all right, if you pick one album to define what makes Prince Prince, you probably go to Purple Rain for the sense of it was the blockbuster. It was I think the number one selling album of 84. Dove's Cry was the number one song in 84. It's the one we go to. It's literally the one we look at where we say, how did Purple become associated with Prince? Purple Rain. I mean, it becomes all of those things. And when you watch this movie, and I'll be honest, we talked about this before we jumped on. Like, we hadn't seen this movie in years. So to kind of refresh our memory, I was like, okay, there's some things here that I can enjoy. But it also made me sad. And when I was like, this man's been gone for 8 years now. Like, it doesn't seem real. It doesn't seem real.
I don't think it ever will. I mean, we talk about Michael and Prince together because those two, for the most part, if you had to pick 5 or 10 people that I would say You think 1980s. Michael Jackson and Prince are probably the first among the first two of five that probably come to mind.
Mm-hmm.
And we lost them in such similar ways, with respect to painkillers and different things of that nature. Like it was just it's devastating because, and I mean, these guys were eccentric geniuses in their own way. Both born in 1958, both born in the Midwest. Mike, of course, was Gary, Indiana. Prince, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Mike was a Virgo, and Prince was a Gemini, and those two signs are notoriously control freaks for the most part. So they were more similar than they were not, even though people tried to pit them against each other for the longest time and even pitting them, against each other posthumously. But here we only talk about the positive. And Prince, when you think about I want to talk about the movie a little bit, because when I went back and watched it, I went back and watched it yesterday. And when you think of 1984, because full disclosure, my partner to the left of me was an infant, and I was a toddler. I was barely 2, turning 3. So we don't remember.
Correction, I was in my mama's belly when this movie came out.
Okay, all right. So yeah, so he wasn't here yet, and I was just fresh off the Baby Express. So we don't know much about 1984, but to go back and look and just to see what people were wearing, what people were saying, even for me as a car nerd, just watching the cars. I mean, Morris's canary yellow Cadillac limousine driven by his right hand man Jerome Benton. That's just one of those things. It's just like, man, this is so 80s. Everything about this is just like, if I imagine if I was literally old enough to remember the early 80s, this is what I figured it would be like. But just to give you guys a quick synopsis of the movie, Prince is the kid in this flick. And there's, I think what makes that movie so fun is just the setup of the nightclub scene, the atmosphere of that. When you have 3 groups, you have Prince's crew, you have Des Dickerson's crew, and then of course you have Morris Day in the town. And yes, this was a vehicle for the Minneapolis sound to really blow, but it's still, you could probably surmise that different club scenes around black cities. I mean, and Minneapolis isn't a black city per se, but the people in this picture, for the most part, are ridiculously black. You have Morris, who's probably one of the best heels not to ever set foot in a wrestling ring. You have Prince, even though he had his mother played by a white woman for some inexplicable reason. He's black. We have Jerome. But finding out that Apollonia wasn't black as a teenager was a shock. But that's the beauty of learning and growing. But this is, when you think about that, when you think about the competitive atmosphere of bands trying to be heard and winning over the crowd, that's what this movie kind of sort of represents to me. And in terms of Prince just wanting to be the best to ever do it. Because granted, remember, this was a year plus after Michael Jackson had literally just taken over the world with Thriller. And Thriller was still on the charts, because remember, the Thriller itself was the last single, and that came out in the spring of 1984. So Prince is coming out with this movie and this album / soundtrack, and it's like, okay, what's going to happen here? And then, of course, Prince picks up that Thriller mantle and just runs with it. Just when you go back and think about Purple Rain, the movie, like, what are some of the highlights and some of the things that stick out to you?
Sure. So you mentioned the nightclub environment, the scene with like the bands playing. Like, first of all, I just wanted to wish I was in Minneapolis in the 80s. Like, it seemed like a very live place to be a musician and play. Because again, you have Prince, you have the time. Yes, he kind of created the time with Morris Day, but they were also great musicians. Shout out to obviously 2 of the great producers of all time, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, were in that band. Yeah. Shout out to Jelly Bean, Monte Moore. It was an all-star band in its own right. All of them later had hits. So you had the time, you had Prince doing Vanity 6. You also had a lot of rock bands in the 80s as well, too, that were starting to get a potential, like the Replacements. So that scene just seems so cool to be a part of. And you watch the movie, you're like, I would have loved to have been there. If you hear the song Uptown by Prince, that's on Dirty Mind, I believe, one of my good brothers, Keith, who was my Prince mentor, he said that literally Uptown is not about like a vibe. It literally was Uptown Minneapolis. Like, that was like the spot where that scene was really popular. So you look at the scenes and all the nightclubs, like they look really cool. Like I would love to be a part of that. The fashion, the design, the mixing of races, even like it was like that was really cool to see. And I don't know if that was by design because obviously you have the nightclub owner Billy, who I just read yesterday was like a really good friend of Prince. You had all these cast of characters in there, and it was just such a cool place to be. So that's what stood out to me. But also, and you can appreciate this as a music man, bands competing. Like when bands were so ultra competitive. Like I kind of miss a little bit of that now. Like granted, hip hop obviously has taken that mantle and still runs with it, as we have seen from the the biggest story of the year in hip hop, which is Kendrick versus Drake. But like the competitiveness, like you go on stage, you try to kill it. They go on stage, they try to kill it. Like that was really cool to see because I missed that element of like the bands, like the black bands who were out there just trying to kill it. And the white bands did the same thing, but like the bands that were just trying to kill it, trying to do it. And they were touring together. Like the Time performances are great. The Revolution performances are great. Even when you mentioned Des Dickerson, when they did Modern Air, that performance was great. Like just that atmosphere is like, damn, I wish I was in that.
Yeah, and I think and granted, we can complain about a lot that's wrong with music today, but I mean, I think the biggest thing is for us to accept is that our generation, we're starting to become the generation that before us looked at us crazy when we started liking certain types of music. I mean, we got to sort of admit now that these kids that are like late 90s, early 2000s, this is their bag. We can't take that from them, but we can still be honest about how great previous eras were. And when you think about black bands from probably, because you can start with the Isley Brothers, because really quickly, the Isley Brothers are the greatest band to ever do this. Not black band, not R&B band, period.
There is an argument for it, and I am here for it.
Okay. Yeah, I figured you would be. Yeah. Thinking black bands from the space of about, we'll say, probably 1967 when Sly took over with Dance to the Music, probably until the mid 80s, when music started to become a little bit more electro, was like, if you were a band, you had to be great. And I feel like Purple Rain is one of the last vestiges of that, seeing that competitive nature with, Dez's group, with Prince, with the Revolution and with the Time and different things. But what I found to be interesting going back to that movie is because I have a book. I also bought a little prop. This is a book I've had for a good minute, and I'm still trying to dig through it. But it is Prince, all the songs by Benoit Clerc. And as you can see, this joint is about as big as your standard King James Version Bible because Prince has a ton of songs in his joint. And some of the stories within this book. I mean, how much was this book? Oh yeah, it was $60.
Good Lord.
If you have a spare $60 lying around, you should give Benoit Clerc your coins so you can be fully immersed in the greatness of Prince's music. But interestingly enough, there's quite a few instances in there where Prince didn't want to give credit to anybody for the songs because, again, Gemini, control freak.
Control freak.
And that is one of the great storylines of the movie because Wendy, yes, Lisa. But
one more?
Yes, Lisa. that's one of the more wildest intro. I mean, Prince done some wild intros, but that was just like really Prince-esque. And we'll talk about the album more in a minute. But they wrote music, and it's interesting because we just talked about how Stevie Wonder was receptive to the ideas and working with women, and then we turn around and we're covering Purple Rain, and Prince really seems to. I don't know. It's odd in a way to see a dude that has really played into feminine sensibilities his whole career was really a jerk in that movie in some respects.
I mean, put it lightly, he's a jerk in that movie. We could use other words, but like the whole movie is like, how is this dude so charming and charismatic, but such a jerk to his bandmates, a jerk to the love interest? You almost kind of in a way feel like Morris kind of, Prince, you deserve to get talked to by Morris because you are a bit of a jerk in this movie. But I love seeing Wendy and Lisa because like I think that stood out to me. Like Wendy and Lisa are both part of the Prince atmosphere in terms of not just being part of the Revolution. We both agree probably that they played a big role in how his sound was during the Revolution era. Like they brought a lot of elements in there. I remember reading Questlove's book Music is History, and he talked about how much, history is often told through one perspective, through like a dominant figure, but there's also other people in that atmosphere who are just as important. And
Yes.
if you talk about Parade, that album was very much influenced by Wendy and Lisa. So they are important to his atmosphere. But what I loved about the movie is you see basically Wendy, who I believe is like all of like 19, 20 years old, talking junk to Prince, about listen to our music, listen to our stuff. And Prince is like, whatever, whatever. And Wendy's giving it back to him. Like the backstory, Wendy had just joined the revolution, I believe, in 1983. And her debut performance was in August 83, which we will get to talking about the Purple Rain album. But she just got in the band talking back to Prince in the movie, like, you don't know what's up, whatever, whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. And like we said, Stevie Wonder was so good at collaborating and giving space to women and being able to collaborate and work with them. And Prince was too, let's be clear. Prince always loved when women covered his music. Like Prince was very much down with the whole like traditional macho rock and roll. He was actually a big reason why I listened to Joni Mitchell. He talked about Joni Mitchell as being like this big figure, that should be more respected. But in the movie, he is a jerk to the women around him, and it's like, wow, it is. Even for our sensibility, it's like, wow, you are a jerk.
It's so funny because there's a penultimate point in this movie. Well, I mean, if you haven't seen Purple Rain, you might want to skip past this part.
So why are you listening to us if you haven't seen the movie? I'm just saying, like, if you haven't seen the movie by now, sorry, we're going to be spoiling it. Talk, CJ.
Okay, all right. So hey, you heard it. Evan said it, not me. But all right, so there's a penultimate point in the movie where Apollonia is one of her first performances is Apollonia 6, a sex shooter at the other nightclub. And Morris is toe up from the flow up. He forget 3 sheets to the wind. He's about 10, 11, or 12. Like he is black. And he is gone. And nobody knows where Jerome is. So the assumption is Morris is drunk behind, is going to try to get behind the wheel of this big old Cadillac and drive Apollonia home. But before that can happen, who should pull up on his Honda? But the purple one. And he gets Apollonia to hop on, and Morris yells at him with a word that we do not use today and will not use on this episode. So they go to I think that's the Twin Cities Bridge. I could be wrong. But they're arguing again because Prince has already backhanded her because she told him she was joining up with Morris's crew. And he they fight and they tussling again. He's got that hand raised and Apollonia's like, yeah, go ahead and do it. And when Prince is doubling back to the scenes earlier in the movie when he comes home and he's trying to pull his father, played by the late great Clarence Williams III, off of his mother. Mm-hmm. And he's just, it's just dawning on him because when Doves Cry is like autobiographical in a sense for Prince. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm just like my father, too bold, and maybe I'm just like my mother, she's never satisfied, because they just that give and take between Prince's movie mom and movie dad is weird because they were fighting all day long, and then when Apollonia finally comes back to the kids' place, they Prince is just like very embarrassed because they are about to get busy on the couch. And you can just tell that Prince is just so humiliated because Apollonia is like, those are your folks? And Prince is like, yep, freak show. He's just like totally, and it just all dawns on him at the time when, and Apollonia throws that earring back at him and he goes home, and that's when his father, shoots himself in the head, and then he discovers all the songs that his dad wrote. And it's just like Prince, in that, the kid in that movie starts to see that, yes, he is just like his father. Yeah. Very, very temperamental, very controlling, not very woman friendly. And that just inspires him to, as Billy said in the movie, your music doesn't touch anybody. So when you get to him performing Purple Rain, and you get like this feeling, it's probably one. It's just one of those moments where you have to just be in it. You have to be in that moment. Like literally, if you've been to a concert before where your favorite artist has done something that has just absolutely stopped your situation, like you know, for me, finally seeing Beyonce for the first time last July and hearing 60,000 people, black, white, whatever sexual preference you prefer, whatever gender ID, singing Dangerously in Love at the top of their lungs in Lincoln Financial Field. It's just one of those moments where you're like, this is, now I get it. And Prince's Purple Rain performance in that movie is the why you get it.
Yes, yes. Before I come back to my thoughts on that, like going back to those scenes with him in Apollonia, and even the scenes with Prince's parents in the movie, I thought about the movie in terms of generational trauma, which I never thought about before. Like it is dealing with like you carry on this generational trauma. You see the abuse in your own household, and then you carry it out, and you're like, oh my gosh, I am turning into my parents. I am turning into my father. Like that is something that I think at once is repulsive, but at the same time, it really speaks to how much abuse is something that's often passed down, right? Like if you see abuse in your household, you will probably exhibit that abuse, whether it's alcohol, physical, verbal. And I thought that was a very interesting, when you said the flashback, I thought that was very interesting. You saw that because he is literally becoming his father. And even in the end of the movie where he discovers his father's music and adds something to what Lisa and Wendy brought to him, which we see as Purple Rain in the movie, it is a very interesting reminder of carrying on the sins of the father, but now they become your sins as well. By the way, that one scene where he slaps her is weird because Apollonia comes into his room, brings him this white guitar, this wonderful gift. They have this really nice moment where they kiss, and then she's like, I'm going to join Morris's band. And then it all turns into like this really bad moment. I'm like, can we talk about the ridiculous of that scene? Like, how do you go from this being this like really intimate, precious moment, really cool moment, and then it just slips like that and turns into like this really repulsive scene where he slaps her and she leaves, and it's like, what just happened here? Like, what just happened here? Like, how did this go from like 0 to 60?
Your guess is as good as mine. I think. I mean, I've never been. I mean, thankfully, toxic situations don't follow me like that. But it just seems like, you know, that might be par for the course in certain relationships. I mean, because not every relationship is perfect, and you know, we're not. No one on this program is excusing DV at all. Let's make that abundantly clear. But you know, there are moments when people, you know, for different reasons, just kind of like, and that was the first moment that Prince really exhibited those symptoms of. I mean, there were other moments when he was just literally ignoring Wendy and Lisa begging him to play the music, but you know, just him, you know, backhanding her like that, and it was just like, did you really did that switch just flip for you that quickly?
Yeah.
And then when you realize that he, you know, earlier in the movie, his dad was just literally had his mom hemmed up against the wall when he was coming home from a performance. So it's like you said, generational trauma, and the sins of the father become that of the son. Yeah. And that scene just it starts the part of the movie where it's just like a whole bunch of, you know, you can't. I mean, train wreck and secondhand embarrassment. Like, Lord have mercy. Like, these folks are really screwed up. But just the triumphant nature of it at the end. That he redeems himself. Because the look on Wendy's face when he says, this is a song written by the girls, Wendy and Lisa, and they were just like, what? Excuse me? And when Wendy starts playing that guitar, yeah, exactly. And when Wendy starts playing that riff, that famous riff, the one that we all know 1,000 times, and the ones that some of us have tried to play and have come painfully short. It just, I mean, it's that, like I said, it's that moment where you get it. And Prince just, he was already a star, but he became a superstar after Purple Rain.
And going back to that scene, man, like I watched that scene, and you've seen that scene before, but when you see it, you can't help but get like inspired or excited. Like I'm sitting in my couch here, this couch, watching that Purple Rain performance, and I'm just like fired up in my seat, like watching. I'm like, man, like you hear this song so many times, but you see it in the context of the movie, and you realize that it's the moment where he accepts what Wendy and Lisa brought to him. He accepts being vulnerable. He accepts, the vulnerability of everything around him, and it just climaxes in this wonderful performance. Where by the way, the time had just killed it before doing the bird. The place was set on fire, and then Prince in the dressing room with the band, they're thinking, all right, we're about to lose our spot here. We're about to lose it all. And he brings that white guitar. He's like, all right, the band's with him. They're like, let's go. And then he does what you said. He gives love to Wendy and Lisa. And then that song is just such a exhilarating moment. You can hear that song so many times, but it's such an exhilarating moment. And you see the performance where it just becomes this euphoric moment. He leans over and gives Wendy a kiss before the finale. And everything changes at that moment for him, where he's like, the kid has realized I'm that dude. Like, this is something that he's become vulnerable. He's become human. He's become not this technically gifted person. He's become a human who showed you his raw emotion and made you feel something. And
yes.
You mentioned seeing Beyonce do Dangerously in Love. When I saw Prince in 2011 and he did Purple Rain, and it was early in the show, he did Purple Rain. I'm sitting there with my then girlfriend. It's like, oh my gosh, it just surrounds you. It surrounds you with so much. Even the Super Bowl. Like, if you've never seen Prince live in person, but you see that Super Bowl performance where he does Purple Rain, and you just feel how it just surrounds you. It's a perfect song in a moment. And in that movie, it's that moment where, boom, one of the great music scenes probably in all of film. And then, of course, it turns into a celebration after that, where it goes to I Would Die For You and Baby, I'm a Star, which is incredible. Like, I love that scene because literally in I Would Die For You, you see him flashing back to the movie and everything. The scene where Apollonia throws the earring back at him after they had that fight. There's a scene during the song where he, takes the earring that he finds on the floor, flips it. Apollonia is right there to catch it. That's just so cool. I love it. And gosh, I want to get to the music so badly. Yeah. The performance of that song is great because, oh my gosh, Prince and the band for I Would Die For You, man. Just, whoo. Everything about that song is so good, but the performance in the movie, you see him just kind of like doing that little shimmy. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing a good job of it, but that little shimmy he does where he slides across the floor at the end, I'm like, whoo, it's so good. And then Baby, I'm a Star, like, come on. He says what it is. Like you said, after that movie, nothing was the same for him. Purple Rain had already dropped, but that movie took him to another place that he basically stayed in for the rest of his life. And I think that's probably a good way to get into this.
And now, yes, like I said, he comes bearing gifts, and that is an original copy of Purple Rain, the album, or the soundtrack, whichever you prefer to call it. Yes. And what I find to be interesting about this, because 1999 is probably the Prince album I come back to more than any other, because there's just an expensiveness on that album that I find great. Like when you lean into something, you don't get a whole lot of International Lover after that. Lady Cab Driver sounds like something that could have been done 5 years later, like 1986, 87-ish. Like 1999, Prince was literally...
And it was, if you listen to, what's that song? Oh, Sheila.
Yep. No disrespect to Melvin Riley and them. Shouts out to Grand Rapids, Michigan. But, we see you. We know.
Like you said, CJ, it's a song that could have been done 5 years later, and it was.
It was. Ow. What's good for the goose is always good for the gander. Okay, all right.
By the way, I do love that song. Like, don't get me wrong, I love that song, but I think ever since I heard, I think it may have been Bomani or somebody who brought that up. I can't hear that song the same way again. I'm sorry.
that just tells you how influential Prince was, man.
Yeah. By the way, that was I'm trying to find what year it was where it reached number one, but it came out in 85. So either 85 or 86. So literally, Lady Cab Driver was ahead of its time.
Yeah. And but yeah, Purple Rain, the album, coming off of 1999, here's this incredible work of art, that's surrounded on the movie, based on the movie, whatever you want to call it. And everything about every song on that album just has a place. I mean,
Mhm.
we didn't mention the Darling Nikki performance, which moved Apollonia to tears, and not in a good way.
Ooh, ooh.
But Darling Nikki became a famous song because Al Gore's wife Tipper heard her daughter listening to it and had a fit. So what happened with that? The little parental advisory stickers that you see on a lot of rap albums and rock albums, that's because of Darling Nikki. So Prince was
Yep.
pushing the envelope long before anybody else was. But we
The
got to talk about when
PMRC. Oh, sorry. I wanted to make clear. The PMRC.
the parental.
The Parents Music Resource Center, but basically it was known as the it was founded by women led by Tipper Gore. They were the ones who had all these filthy 15 songs, and number one was Darling Nikki. These 15 songs that they found objectionable, so that led to the creation of the parental advisory sticker. I had to make sure I get that PMRC because I've been reading a lot of Frank Zappa lately, and Frank Zappa was a big opponent of them. So
Zappa, that's another genius, man. Whew, Lord have mercy. What a
I got
brilliant
work to
dude.
do on him. But anyway,
Yeah, his music is. Yeah, I just started getting to his stuff, but his stuff is good. But
mhm.
yes, When Doves Cry, that has a pivotal scene in the movie as well. But we need to talk about that because when you think about black music, you think about the bottom structure. You think about the bass. Prince said, "I don't need no bass. You know what? It's not gonna be required for this album, Charlie Murphy. It's just like no bass needed. Not gonna do it." And it becomes one of the greatest songs of the 80s based on a little bitty keyboard plunk, a Lindrum LM1, which Prince was famous for known for. He got a special sound out of the LM1, which no one has been able to identify. Prince's secret sauce is so interesting, and we'll talk about that as we close this out. Because I had another friend when we talked about, Prince, earlier in Black Music Month about this particular structure that holds a lot of different things that we'll talk about. We'll talk about it later. But yes, when you think about a song that has no bass, that's 5 minutes long and is just a little keyboard, some keyboard plunks, the Lindrum and Prince's guitar, and it's an autobiographical tune. I mean, it is. I mean, you could have called Purple Rain the movie When Doves Cry because that fits so well into the movie.
I mean, put it this way. I think, again, quoting Bomani, who quoted Questlove saying this, it is one of the most radical hits that perhaps we've ever had because of the no bass. I mean, think about it. Prince decided to take the bass out, and I remember, and I could get this book, but I don't want to go off camera for a sec, but the great book that Dwayne Tulo wrote about the Purple Rain sessions. It basically was a conversation with him and some of his people. He was like, "I'm just going to take it out, and I just feel like I'm just going to take it out, see what happens." And the brilliance of that, and still making it work. If you take the bass out of that song, of those songs, there's no groove, there's no bottom. Like you said, the groove is what drives so much of black music, what drives so much of everything. You take that out, it's like, where's the groove in the song? And I think I heard Prince say that the bass drum is kind of the bass in the song, right? The bass, the drum, the reverb. But you take that all together, not only did he make that song danceable, not only did he make that song a hit, as I said, it was the biggest hit of 1984. And it doesn't sound like anything else because
No.
it sounds like Prince, but there's no bass, there's no wiggle, there's no groove. How do you know how to move? It's because those drums hit. It's because those keyboards have enough funk to it. And the guitar solo, I'm sorry, I got to say this. There are 2 guitar solos in that song. I don't know how that man played the first one. And there are legendary stories about how I think ZZ Top's Billy Gibbons was like, "How did you play that first guitar solo, which is at the beginning of the song, right?" Mm-hmm. And Prince was like, "I don't know, I can't recreate it." And I remember seeing the live at Syracuse, so that's on DVD now, the Prince and the Revolution live from the '85 tour when they played at Syracuse. When they did that song, they did a recording of it, of that first guitar solo intro. They did not play that live because it's so hard to do. I don't know what Prince did, but even Prince can replay that, what he did on that guitar solo to start the song. And then, of course, the second guitar solo, just like he kills it and just like goes crazy on it. I mean, it's an incredible structure of a song. Not having a bass and still being a number one hit is remarkable. I think he did it later on Kiss, another song with no bass that went number one, and still it's danceable as all heck. But yeah, man, that song is incredible. And like you said, autobiographical. I think it was one of the only songs or one of the few songs that he did that wasn't, it was, I don't know if it was done for the movie, but it was definitely done after some of the other songs on the album. And it's a banger. It's still to this day a smoker, man.
I mean, it's incredible. I mean, that's all I can keep thinking about, because that second solo is my favorite because, you know, there's the beginning part when the scream goes, when it's like dun, and then dun, and then there's a little chink in there, dun, 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 oh, and it's like just those little nuances of Prince's guitar playing. Just like there aren't. I mean, if he's not in your top five, what are you doing? I mean, there's Hendrix, there's Ernie Isley, who we don't talk about enough, but Prince definitely has to be in your top five guitarists. If not, then I don't know if your top five is complete.
I mean, let's be honest. Yeah, be honest. I always say Hendrix. Everyone else is playing for second with Jimmy. Ernie Isley is right there. But Prince, I mean, as a guitar player, just that album is a guitar record. Like that Purple Rain album is the guitar record where he just shows you, I am incredible. I can do this along with any rock band. I can give you the guitar song with Purple Rain. That's like an epic, like, you know, hold your lighters up song. He brings you the guitar on that record in a way that, you know, again, you could argue that 1999 is the synths record. 1980s Dirty Mind is a lot of bass and rhythm guitar. But this album, Purple Rain, that's all the guitar wizardry of Prince with all the other great stuff that we talked about. Speaking of which, can we talk about this next? Let's Go Crazy, the intro?
Yes, the intro. Yeah, so you can't start a movie. You can't start a crazy movie without a crazy song. And of course, that is the very first song the Kid and the Revolution are playing in the nightclub is Let's Go Crazy. And that song was done recently by Janelle Monáe. And, you know, and going back to what Evan's earlier point was, Prince loved her version of that song. So, well, their version of that song. I think Janelle goes by they, them pronouns now. So we want to be inclusive on the show. So they go by they and them, I do believe. So, you know, their version of it was something that Prince approved of. If Prince approves of your version, then you're doing something right, because we know what happens when he don't approve. BET Awards.
Trey Songz.
One of the greatest gifts to ever surface Al Gore's internet, buddy. Like Prince and his bald-headed homegirl, like, oh my God, what the hell is this?
Who is? Did we approve of this? No. And Prince wasn't shy about letting you know. I didn't ask for this.
That man kicked Kim Kardashian off the stage because she couldn't dance.
Yes. Oh, I love that moment. That's like, I don't care who you are. You here to dance and party. Get off the stage. You can't do that.
One of a kind, man. But yeah, let's talk about Let's Go Crazy. Just the nuances in that record are perfect. I mean, there's just another one of those great guitar songs like you mentioned, and then, you know, just the lyrics of it. You know, the intro is like you literally are sitting in church somewhere, because there's an organ being played in the beginning. Yeah, like it feels like a funeral, but then it turns into a revival.
Yes, and I think that's one of the things about Purple Rain that I love is that if you listen to it a certain way, it's like a gospel album, right? It's a gospel record in a way. Like there's a lot of gospel messages in there. And Let's Go Crazy, obviously, I'm not going to let the elevator break us down. Prince has often said the elevator is a synonym for the devil. So right there, you get the religious imagery of that song. And again, with the movie, it starts the movie off so perfectly. Like you get so excited, you get ready. Like imagine being in a theater in 1984. You see this movie. You already know Prince is going to be bringing it. The album's already come out. And you're like, how's this going to come? How's this going to work? You hear Let's Go Crazy. And you're like, ooh, ooh, you've probably listened to the album a couple times. You're ready. You hear that. I'm like, ooh, we going right into this. Okay. And then they just come out the gate. Dun, 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 dun. And you just like, I imagine people are dancing in the aisles or dancing in their seats, like, whoo. But yeah, if you don't like the world you're living in, I wish I could sing all the lyrics right now. I should, um, but yeah, Prince. That song again, it's a definitely religiously influenced song. But also when watching the movie, I didn't realize this. They don't just play that song; they play a little bit of the extended version of that song in the movie. I didn't notice that before. So if you've listened to Purple Rain on the Purple Rain album, "Let's Go Crazy" is really quick, like standard song. But there is an extended version of that song that is on the if you have the 45 single, which I have here, or if you have the Purple Rain Deluxe album, which I have, but I just didn't want to get out for the show. It's a longer extended version. It's got like a little bit of a piano breakdown, a little bit more of a fun part. They play that part in the movie. So imagine you hear the song and then you realize, oh, there's more to it. Yeah. You see why that
it's
song
treat,
also
man. It's a treat.
You see why that song went number one after the movie came out. Because if I'm not mistaken, Dove's Cry was number one when the movie released. And then Let's Go Crazy went number one like later after the movie had been out. So you hear that song, you're like, it feels like I'm in church. Like you said, it feels like church.
Yeah.
It feels like church.
Yeah. It's probably when you think about Prince songs, I mean, when you mention the elevator and the unfortunate, way, I mean, it's like, life imitating art in some respects.
Yes.
Because that's unfortunately where he was found, and listening to it from that perspective, it's like he fought that elevator for a long time, man. He really did. But even though, again, 8 years later, it does not seem real. 2016, that was a nightmare year. We lost. Aside from what happened in November, we lost a lot of great people that year. When you think about it, we lost Maurice White we lost Natalie Cole New Year's Eve going into 2016.
Oh wow.
We lost Maurice White in February. Rod Temperton died during the summer. One of my personal favorites, Kashif died on my birthday that year.
Oh wow.
And in the interim, Prince died on April 21st. So 2016 was the year that a lot of musical icons, said adios. But Prince is the one we come back to the most because that was the one nobody was ready for.
No, and honestly, like for me, and I was just reading about David Bowie recently, actually last night, if I'm not mistaken, I was reading about David Bowie. David Bowie died in January or February of 16, and that hit me hard too, because again, I hold David Bowie and Prince in a very high regard. Bowie died in January 16, but I hold Bowie and Prince in very high categories, guys who were shape-shifting titans of pop culture who also had a very independent underground streak to them, if you will. But man, like, that song took a lot more meaning when you realize Prince was found in the elevator, and it makes you realize how much we lost with that man and what that man did, and how much joy this man had in his music. Like, Prince was such a very serious artist and somebody who was a control freak, but there were moments of just unbridled joy in his music, whether it is happiness, sexual joy, lustful joy. There is an unbridled joy, and Dove's Cry kind of has that rush of adrenaline that gets you going. It's a perfect intro for the album. It's a perfect intro for the movie. It's just, gosh, I miss that man, but I also love that song is such a rush of energy. And it goes into, to me, if you look at the album, it goes into probably the song that probably we maybe gloss over a little bit, Take Me With You. I think it's one of the best pop songs that he's written because it's a pure pop song, like joy, happiness, structure. I don't care where we go, just take me with you. Like, that's just a basic fun pop song. I love it. So it's take it, CJ, take it, man.
Yeah, I don't think we don't talk about Take Me With You enough. And there are so many moments of greatness on this album. We haven't even talked about the beautiful ones yet. I think that's we gotta talk about the beautiful ones. But Take Me With You. When you see that part in the movie, that the part of the movie is just perfect.
Yeah.
It's a nice, well, it's nice outside, but apparently it was cold as heck in Minneapolis. So cold that when Apollonia purified herself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka, Prince was scared she was going to catch hypothermia. But when they're riding on a motorcycle heading down to that little lake or whatever, and it's nice, not a cloud in the sky. It's cold as hell for Minneapolis in
Sure.
1983, 84. But
Of course.
I mean, just for us watching on screen, it's beautiful. I mean, it's just a beautiful scenery. Like, you and your partner just going wherever y'all want to go. No, don't care where we go or what we do. Just take me with you. That is just like it's Prince. If Prince, like you said, didn't take himself too seriously all the time, basically.
Yeah, it's a straightforward feeling of like being with somebody and just being in that moment and loving them. And yeah, it's probably, if you want to say it's the weakest song on the album, I still take it and say it's a pretty good single. I mean, it's like you said, the scene was great in the movie. The joy, him and Apollonia trading vocals, like it's a great pop song. And sometimes you forget Prince could write a great pop song, as we saw with Manic Monday. He is a master of writing very relatable pop songs, even for somebody as like big and grand as he is. He can still write these very relatable pop songs that makes it so great. CJ, you hinted at it, man. Let's go to the beautiful ones?
Yeah. In the movie, it's obvious that the kid has seen that Morris is as Popeye the Sailor Man would say, "Oh, he's muscling in on my carrot chart." And Morris is trying to woo Apollonia, and Prince sees this. He's like, okay. He's like, all right, I got something for both. And then he drops the beautiful ones on stage, and I mean, we talk about Stevie Wonder's breakup songs. Prince ain't far behind, man. Because when you think about songs like, If I Was Your Girlfriend and Nothing Compares to You and stuff like that, and then when you think about the beautiful ones, it's just like this dude is yearning. And there's this fun little subtopic on social media now. Men don't yearn like they used to, and Prince was a yearning somebody on the beautiful ones, man. Like he was begging this woman, like, what's it gonna be? Do you want him or do you want me? Because I want you. And I think my favorite part of that is like, what if we get married? Wouldn't that be cool? And then he just, breaks down. I mean, like, he's just like thinking in his head, like, yo, will it take for me to put a ring on your finger for you to, just, stay with me? And it's just like, yo, you make me so confused. And the beautiful ones, you always seem to lose. It's just like, again, more songwriting genius, because he just makes you feel things.
Yeah. And look, Prince, we hold Prince in regard as one of the great players in sense of like so smooth. He's Mr. Steal Your Girl before Terrius Nash, aka The Dream, took that moniker. He was the man who was so confident with women. It felt like he could say anything and just was this incredible sex symbol, But he had these really vulnerable songs about questioning himself, wondering about, if I'm good enough, or I'm wondering if you would reject me or if you like me. And that song, he pulls it out and he just lets it rip when he just goes to that breakdown. He lets it rip where it's like, do you want him? Do you want me? Because I want you. He just screams, tell me, babe, like, I may not know where I'm going. I may not know what I need. One thing's for certain, I know what I want. And if it please you, baby, I'm begging down on my knees. And when you watch him do it in the movie, you're like, oh, he's into it. He is giving it all. And by the way, can I point out the fact, if I'm not mistaken, looking at my notes here, the crowd was kind of into it, but not really into it. And because they're obviously trying to build the story of the kid not being this really charismatic, this great figure. They have to build it up before Purple Rain. But he's playing the beautiful ones, and the crowd's like, okay. They're not going crazy, losing their mind over this.
Any other crowd would just be absolutely bonkers.
Oh my gosh. I mean, look, Apollonia obviously gets emotional for it, but like the movie has to really play up the fact that the kid and the revolution are like trying to build up their credentials. I'm sorry. You hear me hear the revolution in 1983, 84, 85, play these songs. I'm losing my mind. Like, come on, man. Come on. But yeah, the beautiful ones, a really, really great song about yearning and just letting it go. And just Prince lets his voice go. Like he's not just holding back. He's like, I'm giving it all to you on this song. And
Hmm.
shout out to probably a really good cover of this by Drew Hill and Mariah Carey. They did a great
Yeah.
job. It took me a while to appreciate it, but I appreciate it now. Like they did a great job with that cover. But that song is the yearning. And ooh, Computer Blue is next. CJ, what do you
Yeah.
love? What do you love about that song, man?
It's I don't know where it fits. Honestly, it might be the one outlier
Mm-hmm.
for the movie and the album. And I get that it probably I mean, you don't never want to consider anything Prince does as filler because he would kill us all if we said that. But I think Computer Blue in the space of that album is just kind of like more of that unseriousness that didn't come out as much in the music. Like we knew Prince had a sense of humor. I mean, this was a dude that showed up to Brian Gumbel's retirement show dressed as Brian Gumbel.
Yes,
Prince,
yes.
like all the time we think of Prince as like this serious nonstop figure, mysterious and all. He would do crazy stuff like be on the Muppets show, Sesame Street and all of that. And then he would, because Brian Gumbel was such a huge Prince fan, he showed up wearing Brian Gumbel's suit.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
and then jokes with him were like, and Brian's like, "Would you wear my shoes?" And Prince was like, "No, I ain't wearing them shoes." Prince, I mean, he had a sense of humor. I mean, he just shows when to let people see it. But I feel like Computer Blues is another one of those moments where it's like, okay, it's not completely serious till I find a righteous one. I mean, that might be the most serious line in the whole record, but it's just, I mean, it's a fun record in the space of, all right, you've got this dramatic movie where this dude is fighting himself, fighting his parents, fighting, to keep his spot at the nightclub. And then he pulls this song out where his two bandmates are apparently running water for each other. I guess I don't know if that's code for anything. I don't know. With Prince, you can never be sure.
You
But
never can tell.
but Computer Blue, I mean, it's a fun song. I mean, like I said, it might be just one. I mean, I won't call it filler. I'll just say it's probably one of the few probably the outlier on the album for the most part.
Yeah, it's a very interesting song because it's such a very different song. It's just like, oh, okay. By the way, another song when the crowd is hearing you perform, they're just kind of sitting there like, uh huh, uh huh. They're not getting excited hearing this song. And I'm like, how are you not excited hearing this? Like, this is another like straight up rocker, funky
Mm-hmm.
rocker, but they're just kind of watching it like, and then Morris Day comes in there and he's like, crowd's kind of not really feeling it tonight. And
Mm-hmm.
Billy goes, hey, the kids in rare form tonight, but the crowd ain't really feeling it. And it's like, again, they have to build this up, but it's part of the ridiculousness of that movie that you hear Computer Blue and it doesn't move you. By the way, I got a story real quick. When I bought the
Mm-hmm.
Purple Rain Deluxe album, they have an extended version of Computer Blue on that record. It's like 10 minutes long. It is bonkers because after the song plays, it just turns into this big jam where they just play the riff and Prince just kind of going crazy. And then there's more Wendy and Lisa voices about, poor lonely computer. And it just turns to this incredible
I
jam
gotta
session
find
about
this.
love. And oh, wait, have you heard this?
I have not. I have
Woo,
not.
buddy.
I gotta
Okay,
find
you got homework to do. Okay, go listen to go
it.
find the Computer Blue extended version. It is a 12 it's a 12-minute version where there's a whole it's called the hallway speech. And there's a speech where Wendy and Lisa are talking about love, lust, and basically having to retrain the narrator of the song to like think properly.
Mhm.
It takes the song and extends it even more, and it's really really good. You will love it. Okay, go listen to it.
All right, I will. After we're done here, yes. But we are going to close this out. But just I think what makes the Purple Rain era so interesting is that it wasn't as long as other eras because Prince went right into Around the World in a Day right after that.
Yeah,
I mean, like literally 1985, it's just bam, okay. All right, y'all like this, but now we are on to Pop Life and a Raspberry Beret. And
yeah.
nobody, I mean, and nobody blinked. That's the crazy part. Like nobody, I mean, like everyone's like, oh wow, I really enjoyed Purple Rain, but this new Prince album is good too.
Yeah, man. Like it's so amazing that Prince didn't stay in a certain era for so long. Like as somebody again, this album was so huge. Remember, Thriller, as you mentioned, it came out in 1982. '83, it blows up and becomes the biggest album in the world. '84, it's still on top of the world. And then here comes Prince. So literally, Thriller had 2 years of dominating. Meanwhile, Prince dominates '84 with Purple Rain, goes into '85, gets an Oscar for Best Original Score, wins the some American Music Awards, famously skips out on We Are the World. But by the time a year later, he's already on Raspberry Beret, Pop Life, Around the World Today. It's so fascinating how he just kind of shifted to a new era and a new direction. And people probably wanted Purple Rain 2. And he's like, no, you're not getting Purple Rain 2. Matter of fact, in 2 years after Purple Rain, The Revolution are going to be done by '86, '87. And he's going to give you, after Parade, he turns around and gives you Sign of the Times, which is a radical departure from Purple Rain. There's almost nothing on there that sounds like Purple Rain. But it just shows you how it was short, but literally he became a superstar off of that album in a way where he's on top with Michael. You know, Madonna's coming out in '84. Bruce Springsteen becomes a superstar in '84, or takes a star to another level in '84, and he's right there with all of them. And I thought about this when we had the 35th anniversary of Batman soundtrack. It's funny. Prince starts 1980 with Dirty Mind, and he ends that decade on the soundtrack of one of the biggest movies of the year. Like, he does that. And it just shows you just kind of where Prince went. And '84 is the peak of Prince's superstardom. And we could agree or disagree whether this is his best album.
Yeah.
I personally feel, you mentioned 1999. Sign of the Times is my first Prince record that I bought at the classic era. I'd go to that album. But we can agree that this album is the popular peak moment of Prince where he's at that superstar level and everything hit. Perfect soundtrack, perfect songwriting to kind of be the superstar. And one quick nugget before we get out of here. I mentioned the August '83 concert earlier. So the last 3 songs on this album, and I'm going to just take this down and read them because I want to make sure I get this right.
Yeah. That gives people a chance to see the cover up.
Yes, you can see the cover. I Would Die For You, Baby I'm a Star, and Purple Rain. Those 3 songs are actually live. They were performed live at a concert in August '83. I believe it was August 3rd, 1983, at a benefit show at First Avenue, which, by the way, First Avenue gets a lot of love in that movie, Purple Rain. I've been to First Avenue from the outside. It's a mecca for me. I took a picture there when I went there on my NBA travels, right by the Timberwolves arena, I should note. But anyway, those 3 songs, I Would Die For You, Baby I'm a Star, Purple Rain, the way we hear them on this album is exactly almost how they were performed in that 1983 concert. Prince basically may have done like some overdubs, some changes, but those songs are essentially what we hear on here. So I would encourage you, I believe you can probably find that somewhere online or whatever. But the jewel of that concert is go find the version of Purple Rain he did on that show. It is incredible. There are some goodies on that version that are not on this album, but it shows you kind of how he gets to the version that we get on this album. So August 3rd, 1983, he does 3 songs that end up becoming mega hits a year later. And literally they're just a live version of that concert with some dubs or whatever. And he obviously cut Purple Rain down, re-edited it. But listen to the version in that '83 concert before you get to this, because it's amazing. It's amazing what he does to change this up. I just have to say that. Sorry.
It's Prince, man. We've learned by now, even though he wanted to keep the aura of mystery about him, which he's done a pretty good job at, because we are still trying to figure out bits and pieces about the man 8 years after he left us. But just really quickly, because I asked my friend, shouts out to Kelly Forkenbraco, when we talked about Prince in June, and we talked about it then, and we'll talk about it now. The Vault. I want to get your perspective on it, because Kelly made a great point, because she went to she did the Paisley Park tour. That's something I still want to do. I still want to do the Paisley Park tour one of these days. Same. She said that if it wasn't meant for us to hear, then we shouldn't hear it. But at the same time, you can't blame people for their curiosity. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on The Vault, basically?
It's tough, because I respect Prince's privacy in the sense that obviously not everything in The Vault was meant for us. But I will say, as somebody who bought the 1999 deluxe edition, as somebody who bought the Sign of the Times deluxe edition, as somebody who proudly bought the Purple Rain deluxe edition, which is the last thing I believe he worked on before he died, I'm grateful that we have these because it shows you the level of depth that this man was doing, the prolific nature of this man, that he was able to do so many things around that era. Like Sign of the Times, I wanted to hear some of those songs because obviously the legend about Crystal Ball, that double album that was supposed to come out with Rennie and Lisa that they scrapped and became Sign of the Times. I wanted to hear some of those songs, selfishly. Yeah. But it is tough because obviously some of the later stuff that we've heard hasn't really hit as much. And I'm kind of wondering, like, okay, at some point, does it become like Tupac where you put too much out there and not all of it is quality? I think it really has to be done really well with the people that understood Prince musically, not just the estate, but people who understood him musically to realize that this should be either put out in a proper way or let's leave it. But I've been very happy with what we've heard from especially the classic era, the 80s era stuff. I love it. And I'm sure we'll have this conversation with Stevie Wonder because God knows I would love a peek inside that man's vault. I would love a peek inside that man's vault to know what's there.
Man, there's one era in particular that I have in mind. The era between Fulfilling His First Finale and Songs in the Key of Life. The stuff that didn't make the cut for Songs in the Key of Life. Yeah. What did Stevie leave? I mean, because everything that's on Songs in the Key of Life is a smoker anyway. Let's talk about the stuff he left off of there that would probably put a lot of folks' stuff to shame around that same time period. So yes, a look into the Stevie Wonder vault, man. I would donate some plasma for that, buddy.
I would give up I'd give a kidney or something. I would love to see. So yeah, I'm mixed on the Prince vault because obviously there's some stuff in there I'd love to see. We've got some stuff now. Some stuff I'm not sure about, but I think at this point, a lot of stuff's probably going to come out. But I just hope that they're very judicious with it because we've seen with Tupac, you don't want to just put too much stuff out there because it won't be quality. But man, it's tough because this man gave us so much music that we haven't heard and yet gave us so much that we did hear. And I'm just like, man, I'm fascinated by just his process, his thought process.
I think we all are. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this edition. Evan, thank you greatly again. For the folks that missed it the first time, tell them how they can find your work. If you're not familiar, Evan covers the Brooklyn Nets. I keep thinking a Dr. J era Nets, but no, these are the Brooklyn Nets. This is Brooklyn, we go hard. So Evan covers the Brooklyn Nets for Newsday. So tell them where they can find you and your work.
You can find me at Newsday. You can find me on Twitter, X at Evan_B, on Instagram, ebarnes4. I think that's it. One more thing, the B-sides on Purple Rain, monsters. We did not discuss those. The B-sides, they blow your favorite artist away. 17 Days, Erotic City. Ooh, I can't remember the other ones. But yeah, the B-sides for this album, monsters. I had to say that.
Yes. We'll probably have to do we'll have to do a Prince B-sides one day because I mean he had so many of those too. And that's gonna do it for day number 7 of the Black Music Month 30 series here on the Groove Line. Greatly appreciate y'all for tuning in. And as always, want to thank Evan Barnes for coming by to talk Purple Rain. Contact information will be in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe, tap that notification bell so you're notified of all new videos that drop on the channel. And don't forget to like and comment on these videos because as you know by now, your boy talks back in the comments. Tomorrow, day number 8, it's a special treat for us. It's a special treat for everybody watching. The mother of Black Music Month, Ms. Deanna Williams, is going to come by and talk to us about the importance of Black Music Month. So excited for you guys to watch this interview. So stay tuned, man. We got 7 days down. We got 23 to go on the Black Music Month 30. Greatly appreciate y'all for riding with us on the Groove Line. And until the next time we ride, may you find the groove or may the groove find you.